I'm Ellie Vesty and I work at the University of Birmingham. I'm a plant evolutionary biologist, and I look at different plants in different stages of evolution, different points in evolution, to compare and contrast, to work out how plants have evolved from their aquatic origins through to the modern plants that we have today, so the flowering plants and the crop plants that are important today. The particular area that I look at is germination, so looking at spores and seeds and the things that regulate germination, which is obviously very important when you think about things like crops, because you need the seeds to germinate to grow the crops, to grow the rice to feed everybody. So yeah, germination is a process I look at, and in particular I look at the effect of hormones on germination, and hormone signalling and how they affect it. So yeah, by looking at that process in different plants, I can sort of start to understand how that process has changed during evolution, and when you know a little bit more about how things work, you can then go on to, there's applications of that in other plants. So
I suppose that's what I'm thinking about, that time in the lab doing that. What does it make you optimistic for and about?
It makes me optimistic that there are answers in terms of food security. Obviously it's something that is currently a big problem and is going to be an even bigger problem, in the very near future. And I think the fact that there are answers out there, and there is research like mine going on, which is very basic research, but this whole thing of being able to understand how plants work, for you to then be able to apply that knowledge in sort of real situations to make plants better and stronger and more nutritious and things like that. All of that needs basic research. So it makes me optimistic and happy that by the sort of work that's going on in my lab and in other labs around the world, that we will be able to answer some of those questions and do some of the things that desperately need doing, basically.
I suppose I wasn't even thinking of asking this, but there's two things there. There's the ability as scientists to help people adapt plants so that they're more useful to us. We've also got to get used to the idea that we've been doing that for years, but that we need to do more of it.
Yeah, and that's one of the big hurdles, I think, that there is as well. This whole horror word of GM. But I think, again, it's something that it goes hand in hand with the science. The ability to educate people about it, and again, having that basic understanding and being able to, for example, say to someone, okay, we've learnt this from the moss that grows in your garden that's annoying on your garden path, it's taught us this, which has given us this amazing version of rice. That thing of being able to relate it to real life things for people, that's the sort of thing that will make people think, okay, maybe GM isn't as evil as we thought it was. It comes from this. And yeah, I think the answers are there, and they're being, the work is being done already, and I think that it can definitely answer some of the problems that we've got.
I said I was going to ask this separately, but I'll ask it as part of it. You also mentioned that you're quite looking forward to seeing more women involved in science in general, I think. Is that right? Yeah,
definitely. I think that I was very lucky in terms of my sort of story of science, in that I had a brilliant female biology teacher when I was in high school, and but I recently signed up to be a STEM ambassador, and I've sort of been looking into the problems that are faced in certainly at the high school level. I mean, it goes right back to primary school level. The problems that have been faced, the problems that people face about it, getting women into science, and I think that I am a little bit more, now I've looked into it, I'm a little bit more optimistic about the future for women in science. I think so much is being done. I didn't realise until, like I say, I signed up to be a STEM ambassador, and I went to the Science Communication Conference recently, the British Science Association's conference, and the amount of work and conversation and effort that's being put into it, it made me think that these girls have got a chance, sort of thing. I think on the flip side, I think the problem is that people are identifying now is that it's what happens sort of post my level, if you see what I mean, what they call the leaky pipeline. So sort of women then going out of science. So I'm very optimistic that there's definitely now this push for young for girls to be interested in science and to move into science, and even things like chemical engineering and and engineering areas like that are massively male dominated, even areas like that, you know, there's girls going into those areas, but like I say, on the flip side, then there's the sort of leaky pipeline that goes afterwards, but that's a whole other issue.
Just out of curiosity, it's good. It would be good for this country to have more people who are good scientists, full stop.
Yeah.
Whether they're men or women.
Definitely, yeah.
Do you think that there's a qualitative thing that comes with more women getting involved in science, or is that just a bit?
Yeah, I mean, if it's mainly men, you're cutting out 50% of the population. You know, so the more people in general, yeah, whether they're male or female, is a good thing. But to encourage, and you know, for all the sort of, well, I don't know how you want to word it, but men and women are different. Their brains work differently, you know, right down to the sort of the biochemical level that differences have been shown. So yeah, definitely to have people coming in with a different way of thinking of things and a different way of processing information, why is that not a good thing? That's just a fantastic thing. The more opinions and views and different ways of looking at things, the better.
Yeah,
most
so
definitely.
Diversity is good for thinking.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Good luck.
Thanks.